Guys and gals, today we're going to be building something so sinister, so disgusting, so unbelievably horrific. I hope I didn't scare you. If I did, clean out your pants, because we're building the nurse mask from Silent Hill. Now your material list is as follows. First you're going to need a mannequin head. I would get this from a hobby shop. I'm sure you've seen a million of them. They're white. They're not this color. I painted this for a video and I'm just using it, and as you can tell, it's seen a lot of wear and tear. We're going to go for this. What I would suggest, don't get the female head. The female head is odd-shaped, alien-esque, and it's not going to fit your head, females. You want to make it look really gross and stuff, so you want to have enough leeway in there to breathe, so this will probably be your best bet. Guys, if you have a large head like me, you're out of luck because this one's going to be a tight fit. I'm going to show you later because I have a huge head. But you'll see the paint on it. You're going to put some Mod Podge, I think is what it's called. It's a paintable clear. And the reason I say that is because I'm not real sure, after I get done putting all the latex on this, if it's going to peel off right without taking this acrylic with it, which it's not a problem for me, but it will be for you. So I would put a nice little thinner. Don't spray clear coat on it because you're going to melt your because that's what it is. It's just styrofoam. You're going to melt it. And if you've got the luxury of a hard, like actual plaster style type mannequin head, then go for it. You're good to go probably. But you're going to need that. So keep that in mind. This is going to be your most crucial piece because you want it to fit your head. You want it to be able to take the stuff you're going to be putting on it without peeling up and ruining it. So there you go. I thought I would use this one because I have an actual replica of my head, but you don't have a replica of your head. And we're on the cheap. Let's see if we can do it on the cheap. Next, you're going to need latex rubber. Now, this could be casting latex, molding latex. At the point, you want maybe molding latex because it's a little thicker. And you can actually trowel it on with what our next thing is, and that's going to be this. It's a 99-cent store cake spatula. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's cheap. But the latex is $17, $16.99 at my hobby shop. At your hobby shop, it may be more. This is 16 ounces. Right now, if you go during Halloween, I know that I've seen 15 or 16 ounce bottle of liquid latex. It's a little thinner, but it'll still work because it's a little watered down. But you know, you want the thicker stuff, and I got this at the hobby shop. Excellent work there. Also, you're going to need this little bad boy again, like I told you before. You're going to need a good one because it'll last you a lot if you're going to do a lot of building. And these type of sponges, little crappy ones. Little crappy ones to actually add paint to the end product. Scrub Buddy, $1 at my dollar store. It's called the Dollar Tree. You may have one in your area. You don't really want to use brushes on this because one dip in that latex, for some reason it just soaks that ammonia up in those bristles and makes that latex just kick immediately. And you have a latex coated brush that you're no longer going to be able to use. And then, pantyhose. Now I know guys, it's going to feel weird buying pantyhose, but don't worry. Just buy a whole bunch of other weird stuff and they won't question you. Because they'll look at you like a crazy person. He's buying pantyhose, pickles, and a serrated knife. I'm not going to say anything to it. And there you go. Then you'll leave with people thinking you're a lunatic. But there you go. We've cut it off from the actual pantyhose. I've got another pair here. Whatever. You get the point. We're not going to rob any banks. And of course, an optional is some gauze, because technically it is a little bit of gauze. You see a lot of gauze incorporated in the nurse lady build. This is, as you can tell, this is not blood. This is fake blood. I did this on another episode. I think it was an MMO crap episode, and we're going to use that in a way. We're going to need toilet paper. I don't have the roll on me right now. Braxton is going to go get that in a minute. And of course, your good old-fashioned acrylic paints. Because you're going to mix these acrylics with the latex and make acrylic or latex colors. And that is pretty cool. You can get these at any place. Walmart, I think, is where I got these. Apple Barn. And that guy don't know how to drive a motorcycle. It's really loud. Surely you heard that. If not, go back and turn it up. Because I'm sure he wants you to hear it. Because his muffler is so incredibly loud. He's such a man. Okay, now at this point, all we did was stretch the pantyhose over the head. Make sure you don't leave a lot on top unless that's what you're going for. You could probably twist it and run it down the back of the head like a serpent or something, it's whatever. But when you see the black marks, what we did is we took and we're going to make eye holes, and this is what we're going to follow. Now I am not going to leave much of an eye hole, really. I'm going to make it kind of look like more of a gash thing. So we're just going to draw it on there through the pantyhose. So when we start laying it down, see, I changed the eyes on me. This one's going to be completely covered up with stuff, but this one. So what we're doing here is making a mesh. Think of it as like, say you're laying paper mache or something over chicken wire. Like if you're making a parade float. I've done that, and it's quite labor intensive, but it's basically the same idea. Your pantyhose is going to be something that's stretchy. It's going to take and it's going to hold that latex as it soaks into that and kind of make it hold its shape. And then when you're done, what we're going to do is run a bead down the back, peel it off, put it on your head, and figure out a way to sew it in the back so you can tie it up tight, kind of like a wrestling mask if you get, but it's more latex. Now what you see here might not look like much right now until we start adding more on it. Now what we have here is just the toilet paper that we've rolled up like this, or you've laid out and sprayed, because we're going to do some of that actually on the mask itself. Say we'll lay some down, latex over, and then tear it so it looks more like that. And we'll also do that with the gauze, because the gauze really holds some stuff, but we're going to lay down a base coat of latex first. So what we got here, as you can tell, this is kind of the rolled up things, and we've made kind of a gash here. We're going to put blood and paint in here after we've done peeling it up, because we can just peel it up. Let me show you what we got going on here. You're going to peel it. And I told you that you would not need a brush, but I am a liar. Because you're going to need a tiny amount of brush with some powder. Now keep this also in mind, because I'm going to show you how to remove this one, and then I'm going to go from there. The reason you got your powder is so your latex will not stick to itself, because believe me, it loves to stick to itself. As you can tell right here, look, under that, that's some toilet paper that we've not completely soaked it in there, which it goes to show you, you need to really make sure you're soaking. Now let's not go crazy with the powder, just enough to get it up. What we're doing here is just peeling it directly back, keeping our eye on it, because you don't. You want to make sure your edges is thin. Look at that. We'll ensure. That is a beautiful look. That's really slimy looking right there. There's a lot of sinew if you're looking for something, if this really fits what you're doing here. You want to put a lot of powder in, because we're going to stick it two more. Is that after we've laid the initial stuff down, we're going to just figure out a way to lay it on this face. We might cut it up a little bit, because really right now it's looking really gnarly. And we're going to add more, and we're going to paint over more, because I know these grooves are going to have more. We're going to paint latex in it to incorporate it into the whole piece, so it's not going to just look like weird toilet paper rolls. Although this could be something. You put it on the side of the head, that'd also be good. Kind of hide it, because you want your face to kind of look lifeless in the way. But we are going to build some more, just a few more. And there you got that. And as long as it's got powder in it and it won't stick to itself, we can throw it over here, and we can work on peeling these little guys up. And then we'll make some more, and I'll show you how to make it. Now, this latex, if it gets on your hands, don't worry. Just don't touch things that you want to keep, and it'll peel right off. As you can tell, it peeled right off of this barrel thing. This lid to the... There you go. Just pull some out. And this stuff will skin pretty quick. We're going to lay some... let's lay some down first. Lay some down. And lay that down on it. Now, you can be more thorough or less thorough depending on what you want, because you know you're going to add this to it and then squirt a little bit more over it. This will take time to dry. You can speed the dry time with a hair dryer. I wouldn't do a heat dryer thing, because that may make a bubbly effect. Now you really want to work it into there though, because you want to cover up that stuff. You want to fill that paper towel up, or toilet paper, whichever your choice medium is to make these. Also, you can add to it. Let me see. What I'm going to do here, add a little more down here. The reason I'm adding a base, because you want the bottom to have some. You don't want it to just all be latexed out. And see, this is how you would build, say, a big gash. Twist it and lay it down on there like that, and then come around and connect it with itself, so it leaves like a, you know, like a gash, like an open wound. And this is white because, You know, you could tint your latex before it or get flesh tone latex, but there's really no need, because with the mask making, with the latex mask making, like I have noticed, this white latex it'll turn a little off-white, maybe a little yellowish, but you can color it easy with a little bit of latex, mixing the latex with, say, some acrylic paint, and there you go, wham bam booski. You've got a nice, wonderful color on top of this, because you know, I'll show you later as we get painting. Our next step is we're just going to speed through this, and I'm going to cover all of this besides where I'm marking but one eye with latex, because I want that to kind of stay visible for a moment, because I want to incorporate some little, maybe some slashes of it over it, but don't cover the whole eye. So let's speed through this. I'm going to cover wherever there's all under the chin here with latex. If it drips, it's fine, because you can cut latex with scissors after it's done. We'll start at the top, just like icing a cake. Okay, at this point, you put a lot of goop on there. We're just done. Everything's on there. We've iced it. It's still wet and droopy. You don't really want droopy unless you're going for like melted face look. Now you take your gauze. We're going to take some gauze and lay across the face and mouth just to give it a nice little look. We're going to lay some more latex on it. The reason I globbed it on so it can soak into this and we can kind of paste it on there. Because you don't, like I said, you don't want it to droop, because it will drip, and you know, as it goes, it's got some slump on it, which some of this can be cut off and you can burnish it down. I can show you how to do a little bit of that when we're done and we're into before the painting stage. But what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of, like I said, lay it down in sheets. This is the gauze. You can use toilet paper, and I will show you how to use some toilet paper too along with it, but we're all going to put some initial gauze on here just to have a little bit, and you can see it just sticks right there. You just tap it down. It's going to get on your fingers, don't worry. And gauze, I think, what is like $5 maybe for some. So which brings our total, counting head, Mod Podge, if you're having to start all, you're about 15 or about 25, 30 American rupees in debt by doing it this way. Of course, with the toilet paper, which is cheap. If you still live at home with Mom, she's purchased it for you, and you're just totally not using it wisely. But well, this is pretty wise. I would say this is pretty wise. Make sure you pattern it down. Probably go back in there and lay a glob in it. Actually, you can push it down in there like that. Push it and make it work. Okay. This is just some gauze ideas. We're just going to layer a bunch of different options on there. Your fingers are going to get sticky, so just like I said, lay this down here. You can do that, and it's going to like peel it off, some of that excess. You can tell it's going to make the skin look all. You can get in here. Braxton with the camera will jump down in here closer. And as you can see, like we're just bunching it up and making it look all veiny and gross. This is going to be, plus it's going to be painted over with more. We're just going to pat this down and vein it out here. This could also probably be used for a mummy gag. And you know, we're just going to put more latex on here too. So So keep that in mind, because we've got to really tie all this in together. We're going to tap it down. You got to make sure you tap it down good here, because after you tap it down, we're going to add more. If it looks nasty, it's supposed to look nasty because we're making a monster. This is all done, no practice prior to this event, so we maybe should have feathered out that edge there a little bit. I just pat it in. This is the long and short of it. This is the hardest part you're going to have with this build, is the chaos that is the first, the actual initial layer. Now, if it breaks, look at that. Look at all this detail you're getting. If you're really in here close and you can see it, look at all this. You can even deliberately break it up and repaste it down. And see, look at that. You're wanting a gross looking nurse face, and you're getting it. You're getting served up gross. So don't let your mind tell you you're messing up before you've literally messed up. So now we're going to get this eye and take care of it real quick, because that is something terrible. It's a lot of extra. You want to work some latex down. Look great. And if some of this, like I say, if some of this doesn't want to lay down good, or you come to it later and you're like, ah, and it like flapped up, skin doesn't lay down flat when it's all gross and rotten. If there's some hanging off from it, by all means, maybe make some that does hang off. Like you could, like say, flip this over, like wait till last to put this on, or wait till you've got an initial like layer, and then just lay just half of this on here and leave the other part flopping, and then add a lot of blood under that flap, so every time it flops you see a lot of blood and sinew under the flap, and they're like, gross, that's like muscle tissue and all. You got to think about the scare factor there. It's always good. Okay, now that we have the initial stuff put on, we run out of battery there on the camera, but there's really nothing to it but what I showed you, just laying down and layering up latex. Just ignore the red. We've not reached the painting stage yet. That was just residual paint that was left on the gauze that I was using, the used gauze, which be frugal. Now, just make sure you got everything the way you want it. If you see little spots, then add a little bit of latex to them, or pull some latex over here and there. But what I've done is, after I got it to where I want it to be, so it won't slope because you've got a lot on there, you'll take a hair dryer, not a heat gun, because a heat gun will burn it and make it bubble and do all kinds of crazy stuff. You'll take the hair dryer and spray on it and make it, or like hair dry it on hot, so it'll skin. So when the latex skins over, it won't droop no more because it has nowhere to go. It can't go anywhere because it's skinned over. And you can get it to stop and just be thick in that spot instead of move down the piece. So there you go. I will say, don't use a heat gun because I did here, and of course the eye now is no longer got any latex or like any stuff in it. It's burned out the pantyhose. And the waiting game begins because now we gotta wait at least 24 hours probably, I would think. You know, a good 5-6 hours, I don't know. 24 if you really want it to be solidified because you want it to be stuck in space. We're gonna come back in 24 hours and peel this joker up. Alright guys, as you can see here, there's a wardrobe change because it took me 2 days for this to cure. 2 days that I did not expect. Usually, if the rest of this cured within 24 hours. Perfect and ready to paint. Now, I had problems with the scar. I had to remove the scar, cut it back a little bit under it because everything that was squishy under it was not setting. The latex wasn't setting. I had to peel it back and then let the latex set, and I could re-add it if I wanted to, but then I decided that kind of looks like a skull, and we're going to try to go with some like more bloody stuff here. Just make that a big, like someone ripped the flesh off. So that's what I was going to go with. I added a few little latex here, baggy things. And then of course with the mouth, because you're going to need mouth and nose support, or breathing, not support, but breathing areas, I cut holes. And as you can tell, this is unpainted. This is off-white. The only thing with paint's got this little red stuff. We're fixing to cover all this up with a base coat. And we're going to start that right now. Now to mix the paints that we're going to need, it's quite simple. You need a couple layers like this. Latex rubber, majority of it, maybe half and half. I would go with maybe lean more on heavier on the latex side because it's going to dry darker. Whatever color you have, remember it will dry darker because the latex will not be white anymore. It'll be more of an off-white, like a darker color white. So keep that in mind. Just mix a little with this, a little with this, and you'll get colors like this. You'll get latex paint colors. This is an off-white. It smells terrible, ammonia inside the latex. But that goes away as it cures. But as you can tell, that's highlights. I've marked these little jugs for painting. We got red here, which is the base for the red, and then highlight red, and then another base brown. But we're going to do that, and a few bases with latex is fine, especially with this. We're just going to pat it on with the sponge. Boom, bang, whammy, and let's see what it looks like. After the latex components are dry, you see this, and It looks good, don't get me wrong, and this could be, if you want to stop here, that's fine. But I want to add one more little layer that I figured out that will be good. It's a little stain layer. It's just acrylic at this point because you're going to want to wipe some of it off. This acrylic will lay in all these cracks, and then when you wipe it off, it will stay in the cracks, but not on the actual piece, and give it an overall kind of really defined, like, depth. And we're going to show you what it looks like right here. It's just water and acrylic that I've really wet down. It's basically a stain. It's going to get everywhere, so prepare. Now this dry, or partially dry at least, what we're going to do is we're going to take a damp, I stress damp, not really overly wet. You don't want to reactivate all the acrylic. We're going to wipe it off the high parts. Don't really get in there and grind it, or you're going to wipe off all of the brown, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to settle in these deep spots. So let's get to the wiping. And there you have it. This will be your finished product. But if you want to put perma-wet, if you have money, perma-wet, there's other clears. There's actually, I seen it on Stan Winston's School of Special Effects, where this fellow used some brand. I'll show the picture here if I can. I'll find it and I'll show you the picture. It's just a regular clear, like a clear that you would put over something kind of like Mod Podge, but not. But he uses it on his latex masks that he makes professionally, on a professional scale. So if he can make it on a professional scale, surely you can buy it. It's like 15 bucks, a big jar, and a jar will last you multiple masks if you're wanting to make a lot. Maybe you got a team of people who want to be the nurses. That would be pretty cool. But as you see, we wiped it off, and it got really, the grooves and everything kept that brown. And some of it will wipe off unless you let it sit and wait for a while. But the night of, take you some blood, your favorite blood that can wash off. Just pat it in different places, some fresh blood if you want to put some on there like that, and you're good to go. Let's peel this off, and I'm going to try to put it on my fat head. But you got to be careful when pulling it off, and you may actually have to use a little powder, which I strongly suggest using a little powder, to be honest. See, I had a problem with it sticking to acrylic, I thought, but actually, as you can tell, the acrylic is pulled up only in a few places, and that's where I got real hasty. So if you peel it slow, see right there, it peeled up just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And some of it didn't even have acrylic on it in the first place, so I've really hammered this thing. Now, here you want to be very careful because, like I said, it's latex and it'll kind of go back to its shape. But if you pull it really hard, so where this style latex or the style latex you have may not go back into shape. Very carefully around the face, we're going to be peeling it up. Looks like we're skinning a guy. That's pretty gross. Alright, and as you can tell, that without even Mod Podge, just regular acrylic paint, I pulled this right off of this. And with very little to no problem. Now you can even see where I wrote on it with the latex. Let me pop it inside out now. There is our mask. And the moment you've all been waiting for, let's give that bad boy a try on. Now, as you can tell, I'm having a bit of problem with it on my big head because it's really stretched to capacity because I have a huge head. Now, in the back, it's a little open. If that's what you want to do, if you can leave your ponytail out of it, if you're a girl, so you can put your nurse hat on here. If I can and it doesn't get too long, I may put the nurse hat build just out of paper. But as you can tell, it looks pretty gnarly. My range of motion, because of my beard, is sticking out the bottom. It's really hard. I can breathe fine through the nose. You can probably see it through there, though. And this as well. Let me tuck it all in. Try to tuck it all in. But breathe out the top slit, talk out the bottom. And as you can see, if you're a girl, you don't have facial hair, I hope. and you should be able to easily just paint your face like a dark brown or maybe a blood color, just right here in this area. Like just take a little extra lipstick or something, and then when you put it on, it just kind of looks like bloody sinew that's showing under the skin, and you have a mouth so you can smoke a cigarette or drink a beer or whatever it is you're doing at your party or your weird throwdown that isn't a party for two or whatever you get, however you get down, Bryson, right? Bryson knows. Bryson don't know. Thank you for joining me on this build. I hope that you're as lucky with this build as I was. 3 days tops is what it took, even with errors on my behalf, and it fits my really large cranium. So it sure fits yours perfect. And you got keep in mind you can cut these air holes in different spots if you want to. You can just leave the mouth one off, so you just have one under the nose if you want it to be more believable. But that's all up to you. That is your cup of tea. But do tell me in the comments how you would put it together in the back. I can't figure out a way to put it in the back because, as you can tell, it isn't going together in the back on my head because it's too big. So I really can't. I mean, I thought about lacing it up, maybe making another piece of like hangover latex. Like, you know, after I've got it cut, lace them over, and then that way I can put Velcro on either side and Velcro it. But if you're a girl, you want somewhere to put your ponytail out the back of your head. So keep that in mind too. This can be used a lot. I hope that you'll hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and have a great Halloween. It's October, baby.